Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Krushit Shah, founder of Startup Vapi, and I welcome all of you for today's event. The topic for today's event is impact of COVID-19 on education. It is my pleasure to host and moderate today's panel, very eminent panel from Vapi, experienced people from the field of education. We at Startup Vapi community is a group of inspired entrepreneurs, and we believe in learning, sharing, and growing. So we do events online and offline on these parameters. I welcome all my live audience. This is our third show in the row. We were planning initially for just two shows, the impact of COVID-19 on social and economy. But due to a popular demand from our audience on Facebook, we arranged a special show for today on education. I believe it is a very sensitive topic and not many people are ready to talk on it. But our panel has agreed to talk on it, share their views, as well as solve your queries. So special thank to all my invited panelists. Let me introduce myself. I am an entrepreneur and architect practicing in Vapi. It will be a great show today, and I hope all your queries related to education will be solved. A lot many parents will be joining today's show. However, there is a small disclaimer for all our audience. The panelists will talk on the questions that I ask them, they will reply to it, but we need to understand these will be their only personal views and it does not represent, I repeat, it does not represent the institute or the company they work with. They will be their personal views. So we all have to understand and respect those views. I now invite my panelists to introduce themselves. Rahul sir, we will start from you.
Yeah. Thank you, Krushit Bhai, and thank you, Startup Vapi, for giving us an opportunity. Although તમે સ્ટાર્ટમાં તમે બીવડાવી દીધા છે કે nobody wanted to talk on this point, and now I don't know whether we have done the right thing. I hope it works.
Yes.
And so basically, I am just to introduce to the people who may not know me. I'm Rahul Desai. Basically, I got into education by accident. So I'm an accidental educationist, and I run a school by the name Lumen School in Vapi, which is supposed to be called as an alternative education school. And yeah, so I've been enjoying this work after corporate life, and I mean now you can call me an educationist. So this is in brief about me.
Thank you, sir. Rajshri madam, please introduce yourself.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I am Rajshri Singh. I have been into education for nearly 17 years and now flipped my career to corporate. So I'm heading a stationery company as the head of the marketing. So Rahul sir, earlier you were into corporate and now into education. I switched from education to corporate only to just take an experience of how the corporate life is. And of course, yes, marketing itself is educating, and still I'm proud to say that I'm still associated with education. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Apurva sir.
Yes, good evening, namaskar everyone. I am basically a teacher, and as a side activity I also run a school. I miss my teaching since I have started a school, but I run Saraswati International Academy and Saraswati Vidyalaya at Vapi and Vedant Multipurpose School at Valsad. And as Rahul Bhai says, I'm really enjoying, even this situation I'm enjoying. It's a great learning experience for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we have a very mixed panelist for our audience today. Someone who was into corporate, now into education, someone into education, now into corporate, and a hardcore and a favorite of many, Apurva sir, a teacher, lifelong teacher. I hope everyone will enjoy their viewpoints. Let us move ahead in the discussion. So the format of the discussion will be, this is for the audience, we will have a round of individual questions for all of our panelists. And after that round, the second round will be of a common question round where everyone will share their point of views on a single question. And the third round will be a conclusion round where we will conclude the whole event. We are planning to conclude the whole event in a time frame of 45 to 50 minutes. So without wasting any more time, let us start with the bank question. Rahul sir, the first question is for you. Uh, what are the challenges being faced by schools and institutes due to COVID-19 pandemic in urban areas?
I suppose the challenges faced by most of the schools, whether it's urban or rural, they're not very different. I think one of the probably biggest challenge that I feel that everybody would have faced could be, the curriculum and evaluation system that we have in India. I don't think it's suitable for online education, and most of the school had to start without preparation. 3 to 5 lectures of 45 minutes to 1 hour is impossible to focus on for any adult. Whereas similar problems are even faced by IITs. I mean, there we've read so many articles written by IIT professors who say the same point that IIT students are also not able to focus on such a long time on online sessions. Fortunately, as per our school system, we generally finish our syllabus in the month of January, and then we have revision or clubs for our children. So by March, we had already finished our syllabus, and as this COVID struck, we didn't have much of an issue with the finishing syllabus and rushing, and
Yes.
so we didn't have to start online schooling in rush. So we got a lot of time to think and plan, and so in the month of May we had a lot of rehearsal, we had a lot of practices for the teachers with smaller groups of kids to figure out how we can make it effective. And so we came out with a lot of solutions which can work for our children. For example, we divided the class into two smaller groups of 12 to 13 kids each, so that the teacher can focus on children better. We divided every lecture into 3 sessions. So we have before teaching a topic, we have assignments for the children, which actually familiarizes children to the topic. Then there is only 20 minutes of online teaching, during which the teacher teaches the topic, and then there are 30 minutes of assignments in which the children actually revise and think more and work on it, which is kind of a evaluation. So on those assignments, teachers get to understand whether children have understood the topic or not, or they have to rework with some children or more. So this kind of breaking sessions and breaking children into smaller groups actually worked for us. But I suppose many schools had to start the sessions in April, and there probably they didn't get time to think and on how to do. But I suppose now with so much of time gone, they must have sorted out issue. They must have figured out how to find solutions to this, and must be working on that. I think the other issue that probably we faced, or all the schools probably would have faced, was teacher had to really work overtime to really plan into this new way of learning, because none of them had this experience of online sessions. None of them had an idea on how to handle children, how to teach online, what kind of tools you use. Some of them probably not even good at technology. So they really had to work a lot during this April and May. And now with the online sessions, with the awareness that parent could be watching, or somebody like Apurva sir or Rahul sir could also be watching the class. So it adds a lot of additional pressure to the teacher. But I would say that this has brought in kind of immense change in the quality and the way the teachers work. Their morale is gone very high. Earlier, teachers were supposed to be a set of people who take teaching job because nothing else is available. So probably their morale was not so great. I'm talking about most of the teachers, not probably some born teachers like Apurva Bhai. But So the this situation has really, I feel this has really made a big change in the way teachers work, look at the work, look at all the children, focus on each child, and the morale is high. So and with this situation now, parent also have to work hand in hand with the school, because just online probably may not help, especially the younger kids. So I feel this was another challenge to bridge that relation between two entities, schools and parents, and which I
Yes, sir.
think is happening very well now. uh, Parents are really working with the teachers, and in fact, we have come out with a plan that we are making kits which will be sent to each child at home, so that the parent can work with the child with those kits at home, and they can easily and with joyfully manage learning. Otherwise, uh, for a non-teacher who is working in corporates to get into suddenly teaching, it's not easy. So to enable that, we have come out with that, and we have a team of people, again, like teachers, who have been working day and night for last 3 months to make this happen. So I feel, as Apurva Bhai said, this challenge has probably brought in a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of joy and vigor in teaching fraternity as such. So I think these are some of the challenges probably which everybody faced, all the institutes faced.
Thank you. The purpose of asking and starting the conversation today with this was everyone talks about what challenges students are facing, what challenges parents are facing, but no one wants to know what real challenges institutes are facing. So I want to address both the sides today, institutes, teachers, and parents. We will be covering all of them during the event. We'll touch upon them so that we can justify, all the players of this education system. Um, Thank you so much, Rahul sir. I just request my speakers to do not touch the mic. The voice is much clear, even though you are wearing headphones. The voice is quite clear. No need to touch. Maybe it is giving disturbance because of the touching. Okay. So moving ahead, Apurva sir, I believe, and I have come across many cases where there are different challenges that rural schools are facing. It is because of the class of economy and status of the parents and students that have joined those institutes. We don't want to undermine those institutes. They are the breeding ground from where most of the India come up. Maybe most of us have come up. But then, can you address some challenges that rural schools are facing right now?
The biggest challenge at present we are facing is to facilitate this online teaching. My 50% students are coming from villages, so
Yes, sir.
they have network issues. First of all,
Yes, sir.
ઘરમાં બે ફોન છે, મમ્મી પપ્પાના, અને બે બચ્ચા છે. એ લોકોના લેક્ચર્સ આવે છે. એવું પણ બને છે કે મમ્મી કે પપ્પાએ ટેરેસ પર જવું પડે છે ત્યારે નેટવર્ક આવે છે. So we are going with recorded video lectures on our particular YouTube channel and scheduled classes basically. But કેટલીક સારી વસ્તુ પણ થઈ છે આમાં, like teachers are coming with a very good preparation. Even they are very conscious about their attire, because that video is going to be remained on the YouTube forever. Second thing, એક એવું પણ ટીચર્સને લાગે છે કે સરસ કરાવશું, કારણ કે see, my school, we cater with the elder children, like from 9 to 12. Our specialty is 11th and 12, particularly competitive teaching and all. So recorded video lectures we are getting good feedback about that. For the younger children, again, we are using the same methodology, 20 minutes, 30 minutes at max, complemented by the hard copy of the assignments and all. Because problem એક એવો પણ આવે છે કે PDF મોકલીએ, એ પણ ફોનમાં હોય ને વિડીયો પણ ફોનમાં હોય. Everyone is not having that printer facility at home. તો ઘણું બધું નવું નવું જાણવા મળ્યું, લાઈક ક્લાસમાં પેલી અમ્બ્રેલા વાળી લાઇટ કેવી રીતે મૂકીએ તો શેડો ન આવે, થી શરૂ કરીને પંખાનો અવાજ આવે છે કે નહીં, વરસાદ આવે ત્યારે કેવી રીતે શૂટિંગ કરવું. We have set up the studio at the school, but nowadays as pandemic is increasing, અમે લોકોએ હમણાં બંધ કર્યું છે. પણ it is interesting. We are learning a lot. It's good.
एक ओपिनियन है वो I got to know from someone when people मतलब parents, both parents are working, they are doing labor work and their children are studying in primary pre-primary schools, uh, they are not able to manage education, online education. What do you have to say on that?
Yes, that's true. These are the cases. That is why we switch over from the online teaching to the recorded videos. So
That's right.
જ્યારે પણ એમને સમય મળે, જ્યારે પણ ઇન્સ્ટ્રુમેન્ટ મળે, તો એ લોકો રાત્રે પણ જોઈ શકે. અને we have limited it to certain time period, or say 2 hours for the 11th and 12th student, 2-3 hours, and 20-30-40 minutes for the kids in the primary and pre-primary. But this is a real problem, and according to me, every school in Vapi falls under the rural schools compared to the metros. If you compare schools in Surat and Ahmedabad and Baroda, every school in Vapi, we do not have that infra, solid infra regarding network and all. So we all are trying with our best capacities.
Okay, thank you. Moving ahead, Rachi madam, this question is for you. What difficulties are being faced by rural and urban teachers due to the lockdown? Can you throw some light on it?
Okay. First of all, I would like to tell the teachers that, dear teachers, it's a wake up or shake up call for all of you. And this is for the educators because, they need to now gear up themselves towards the changing scenario, because now education is not going to be the same post, even if the unlocking, lockdown opens and the schools reopen. We are unsure when the schools would reopen, but whenever the schools reopen, it would be really very difficult for the teachers to get into the stream, because I think Rahul Bhai and Apurva Bhai would agree with this, that the schools, even if they reopen, many of the parents would really not want their kids, at least in the pre-primary and primary section, to attend the school. So online learning or e-learning would continue for the next years to come. So all the teachers, whether it is in the rural area or the urban area, need to now, this would be a new trend coming into the education, for which all schools and all teachers need to gear up themselves. Now, if we speak about the urban areas, as both of our speakers have told that, there are challenges. And of course, yes, there are many challenges coming up with the urban teachers. So we can just imagine what challenges would be there with the rural teachers. As per the survey, 15%, 15% of the rural areas, they have internet facilities. So we can just imagine in such situations, what kind of education, online education, can we impart in the rural area? Is it possible? Secondly, even the power supplies, the teachers face the issues. There are the cuts in the power supplies in the rural areas are very prominent. So how would this online teaching go, continue over there, and how would they be able to take this online teaching? It is very difficult. And one very important thing is about the training of the teachers. If the urban teachers in the urban areas, where training centers, where schools are so much facilitate the training, online training also for the teachers is really possible. In rural areas, how is it possible if you don't train the teachers? So it's not possible for them to conduct effective online classes for the students in the rural areas. So there are many challenges. Actually, there are many challenges for the rural teachers, but these are just few which we can say. Secondly, the most biggest challenge would come, which is about the dropout rates of the students, which would start happening. We all know the students who have migrated. Okay, the Pravasi Mazdoors and these people who have migrated to their hometowns. The kids are out of school. Now, due to economic conditions, many of these children would be, forced to do some or the other kind of odd job. So now
Yes.
it would be a real great task for the rural teachers to bring back these students back to school. So that would be an additional pressure on the rural teachers. So
Yes.
it's a big, huge task, and there are challenges. And I think all the teachers, whether it is in rural areas or urban areas, need to change their uh, approaches and become more tech savvy. That's all.
Thank you so much for your in-depth views on this broader questions. We already have some audience interaction and they have raised few questions. We'll take them up. Please keep on posting your questions. Moving ahead in our event, Rahul sir, I want to know, could this unlock 1 and 2, could be handled in other way, in any other way by government or organizing bodies, especially for education sector? Do you believe there was some other way that could have been done? I want to club it with one question from audience. Mr. Pankaj has asked, what are other countries doing in this time? So maybe you can answer them together. Thank you.
Sure. Uh, so, this, as Rajeshri said, that this, we don't know when is COVID going to end, how long is this going to go. Even if they make a vaccine, I don't know how many years is it going to take to reach everyone, so that we become actually COVID free. So in such a scenario, there is no option but online world is the only way. So we have nothing else. I mean, no other way to go about this. So I think if you look at the unlock strategy, I'm sure government is doing a lot. They have a big machinery working with them. A lot of people from education, healthcare, and a lot of area. Uh, but I suppose now the government has to start looking at education as probably equally important sector as industries. So,
Yes.
and the only way to prosper or probably even survive from such a situation is to have educated and conscious citizens, which is basically produced by education industry. So,
Yes.
if we learn our lessons from this now, probably I think COVID is going to be a blessing in disguise. And probably
Okay.
some of the points I'm sure government is doing right and they're thinking a lot. But some of the points probably they can look at could be education department should can work with the healthcare and home ministry and consider the best and the worst case scenario when the situation can change, and based on that
Okay.
they can probably lay some guidelines to solve the problem, so that uh, not only the younger kids but children who are in 10th, 12th, or probably in the final year of graduation, they can have a better idea on what is going to happen now. Because waiting for whether the exam will happen or not, and preparing for a long time, it's not an easy thing, especially with Indian way of evaluation, where you have to really write the answers the way it is expected.
Sir,
So
what is happening around the world, and can you throw some light on it?
yeah,
Are they doing treating education a different way?
correct. So if you look at probably people like China and Taiwan, they are more. I mean, they are bolder probably. So
Okay.
they started the schools with social distancing and things like that. But
Oh,
I think they have especially Taiwan has less population, so probably they can afford to do this kind of thing. But I think the
right.
interesting thing to look at is people from Germany, or the countries like Germany and Israel. They first started, although they had such a severe impact of COVID, they
Impact.
started by opening pre-primary and primary schools first, because
Okay.
they had a lot of families have their working parents, and it's very difficult to manage children without daycares and those kind of infrastructure available.
Yes.
And that stress was bringing up building on the whole family, where who will not go to work? If you don't go to work, how will you live and survive? After you
Yes.
come back from the work, how do you keep up with the energy of the child who is waiting for the father and the mother to see and run around and talk and learn and jump and dance? So
Yes.
which started bringing pressure, and government actually thought about it and they started this first.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
these are things that the whole
Yeah.
world is doing.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Apurva, sir, I'm coming to you with a question. So I am sure that all institutes are a part of a larger association. It can be at micro, macro, and state level. So my question is, uh, what is the stance of schools or education associations on the current situation? What do you believe as an association? Where are we heading to?
Our association is very active and very closely following the situation. We had a very
Okay.
fruitful meeting with the Education Minister of Gujarat on 12th April during the lockdown. We were
Okay.
called to Gandhinagar and we went. And see, government is also following this very closely. Actually, the thing is
Yes.
that everyone is clueless and
Okay.
there is nobody to blame. ये हुआ
Agreed.
कैसे? Nobody knows. Association is working on 2 3 approaches. One, we have requested Federation of Cooperative Banks to disperse subsidized loans to the teachers and the school to solve this financial challenge. Second,
Much needed.
association is working on a second approach. Suppose આ થોડું લાંબુ થાય તો then we will as an association start the online classes as a measure of the
Okay.
cost cutting, so that we don't have
Okay.
to involve each and every teacher, each and every resource of the individual school. We are working on that model also. So
Okay.
association is helping us in a quite number of ways.
I think that's a very important news. All parents and common man should know that association is working and might be able to find a solution around it.
Mm.
Rajshri, madam, I'm coming to you. Now, let us know and throw some light on what challenges the rural students and parents are facing. Can you throw some more light on it? We would like to address that audience also today during this
Again,
online classes.
online classes. As I
Yeah.
said, online classes, again, the lack of internet, lack of power supply, and most
Hmm.
important is lack of gadgets.
Hmm.
Smartphones, computers, even in the urban areas, if we see, as per the survey conducted, only 48% of household people have these gadgets, smartphones,
Yes.
and other things.
Yes.
Actually, it's a real number which will make us feel that is it, but that's true. So we can just imagine what would be the condition of the rural areas.
Hmm.
Secondly, these kids or the parents, they don't know like how to, they are not much aware about using the gadgets. So it
Right.
becomes very impractical for them to use these gadgets for online learning. Now, just imagine in a class where we all kids, maximum kids are used, have been given that habit of personal learning. Okay,
Hmm.
and from personal learning, if someone moves to this kind of learning in rural area where the child is not motivated, less motivation is given because parents, if we compare with the urban areas, in urban households the parents are there to motivate the child, but in rural house the parents are not there. Secondly, the parents don't even motivate them to go for the online class because for them, to earn the bread and butter for that day is very important.
It's an additional
So
cost for them. Yeah.
yes. So, these are things. And then the cost of internet. Who is going to bear the cost of internet? Here, where economic conditions, whether it is, whether it is a rural area or urban area, we all are facing these challenges, right? We all are
Yes.
facing challenges. So we can understand for the rural areas, what kind of challenges would they be facing? Would they be able to afford these internet bills and other things? Would many in the urban areas, my friends who have two kids and they don't have the gadgets, they have bought laptop, they have bought phones on EMIs and other things, trying to manage, though there is economical crunch everywhere. So we cannot expect that to happen in the rural areas because if they don't have mobiles, they are not going to go on online classes. Though the
Yes.
government is taking many, have is starting many programs like Diksha and other things, but how it is going to impact on the create an impact on the rural students is still inverted commas. We can't
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Thank
in the
you.
initial stage, that it's going to be a scenario where the teachers, finally, it's the government and the teachers need to come too close and work on it and, bring back the
Find a
situation
solution
to.
for it. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just want to update everyone. We have almost reached 30 minutes of our event today. We need to speed up a little so that we can take more questions. I request all the panelists to give their answers in a precise manner so we can cover more questions. Thank you. Sir, Rahul sir, there is a question from audience. We'll take it up. Mr. Pankaj, once again, he wants to know that as parents and society, we are forcing our kids to watch less and less mobile and TV. And now, due to change scenario, we are all forced to give kids tablets or mobile in their hand. We don't have any solution. What is your view? Because this has been contradicting always. देना है नहीं देना है करना है नहीं कितना करना है. So I know you have addressed this issue before also. So I want some answer from you again.
Yeah. So I think the answer lies in the question itself, that we are forced to do this because COVID enforced it on us, and it's not a choice that we took it up. So the option is either no, forget education of the child for a year or two, or really move ahead in life and take up the challenge and continue with the progress of the child. So I think that's where it stands. Besides, if you look at, I mean, everybody has been talking about the screen time, but I wonder, like, nobody talked about the screen time before COVID started. So when the children were eating while watching video of on YouTube, and mothers were feeding children while showing them videos on the YouTube. So
Agreed.
I feel if that is replaced by education, I think that change of usage of that screen hour with quality is probably a better option we have.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Rakshi madam, I'm coming to you with a question again. Uh, how has the private coaching environment affected due to pandemic? Can you throw some light on it, according to your knowledge?
If we speak about e-learning, I just few days back I had a conversation with one of the agencies, and you won't imagine they have increased the registration threefold. So that is how the private. But I'm speaking here about the e-coaching classes or e-learning classes, and they are doing very well. Uh, it has affected, but here the parents need to understand. There are things which there is a limited scope for digital learning, then as compared to, like, we cannot compare the traditional method of learning with the digital method. So they both are at their things. Then secondly, parents also need to understand, in so many online classes are mushrooming up like anything, taking the advantage of this COVID-19 situation. Authentication of the material, how authentic is the material which is being provided. Even the institution, for example, schools and other, the principals or the coordinator, and they are monitoring. There are coordinators who are monitoring these very strictly. But when it comes to e-learning, we all need to understand that you need to see the authentication of the material. Again, like, one very important thing is uniformity in the material. As we all know, the curriculum is uniform for different boards across national and international curriculum. But is this on
Yes.
e-learning, online learning, is the material uniform? So we need to even think about it. So then parents also, I would like to just advise few parents that you need to take care of the digital safety of your child, because we enroll ourselves into any of the e-learning classes, and like, they can be hacked, there can be intruders who can challenge your safety norms. So parents need to be very careful about it.
Very much.
So there are certain
Very much.
concerns about the applications. We are all aware about certain applications now. So parents
Okay.
need to look into all these things. But of course, yes, the e-learning classes are mushrooming and they are going on doing on very well
Okay.
at this present moment, because parents are also wanting, they don't want their kids to lose the learning. So despite schools taking a maximum, things to ensure that their students do not, go away
Miss
with
Afam.
the learning, but still parents are enrolling for the e-learning classes also.
They need to be careful. That is what I understand by before jumping into it. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Apurva sir, the next question is
Yes.
for you. Um, what is the current stand of government bodies on this difficult situation we all are facing, and where are we heading? Can you throw some light on it? What are some guidelines? What are some tips government bodies are working on?
Government is 90% of the government is occupied with this pandemic, and
Okay.
that should be the priority. Education department particularly has taken measures. Gujarat, I'm talking about Gujarat board, Gujarat government. So they have launched a special channel on the TV to facilitate the education in the rural or village area, because TVs are more common than smartphones. So
Okay.
they are doing one thing. Second thing, even particularly Valsad Education Department, the district education officer of Valsad has started a special project called Koshish. That is specifically for vernacular medium, that is Gujarati medium schools, and that is where the lack of infra and lack of everything is there. I mean, rural area, village students. So the course under that Koshish project, they are providing students with the material. They are even providing testing on the Google form, and that is a remarkable achievement on the part of the at least Valsad district education officer.
Okay.
They have
Okay.
assimilated these things and they are doing it. The government is doing
Okay.
their job again.
Thank you. So we have finished individual round of questions. Now we come to the second round where the common questions is applied to all the panelists and you need to present your views on it. Um, First common question, the distance learning versus existing brick and mortar schools. What do we see the future of education? Where are we heading? I want Rahul sir to start with. So in precise manner. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel the way future is basically probably could be blended learning, where best of both can be used, because both of them have plus and minus. So if we take plus of both, uh, I think the blended learning will work better. So maybe
Okay.
help parents also get better idea about what's
So we
happening in the
might be
class.
looking at a fusion. We might be looking at a
Yeah,
fusion
it's kind
model.
of
Yeah.
going to be fusion. Yeah.
Thank you. Rachi madam,
Of
where are
course,
we
yes,
heading?
blended learning is the next learning system which is going to come up. But along with that, I see a lot of scope for homeschooling also coming up, because this
Okay.
is an opportunity which parents have realized that yes, schooling can be done from home. The kids can be
Mhm.
safer in the home environment, and
Okay.
the homeschooling would be the next option. That is what I feel.
Thank you so much for a different view. Apurva sir.
Yes, I think it will be a fusion of both. Nowadays, there is a word physical and digital. Physical. It is going to be
Is
the
it?
it is going to be the new buzzword. I think they both systems should complement each other. And online and internet is an excellent teaching tool if teacher is good. So let us
Yes.
see. We are learning again.
Okay, okay. So audience, most of our questions will cover your queries. If they are unsolved, then I will take your questions at the end of the whole discussion. I'm looking at the questions, so keep posting them. Okay. Going to the next round of common question. Uh, Sir, what is your message for your dear students? They must be listening to you. And I think they are the ones who are most affected out of everything, finance, online, infrastructure. But students are suffering the most. So, what is your message, Rahul sir, for your students?
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I feel students have been suffering a lot for years because of the rote learning system we have. And I mean, I don't see much difference happening today. So rather, I mean, I would like to leave a message for teachers and parents that I feel
Okay.
every diversity brings in opportunity. So probably
Yes.
this is the time to help children develop life skills for self-learning. I mean, this is what we've been also trying to focus, that if we teach children how to ask questions and how to learn by themselves, I don't think any kind of learning or any kind of COVID or any other situation will ever cause a problem.
Okay, okay. So, thank you. Rachi madam, your views and your message for
Yeah,
students?
my message for students is, dear students, you need to accept this new normal, this situation which is new normal for all of us. They all need to accept it. And these are, when we speak about life skills, we have been teaching them in the schools throughout. So kids, when one question which was posted earlier by one of the
Hmm.
viewers, that how the other schools are doing, I just want to share over here message for my students, that our students, that being, you need to take care of yourself. You need to derive safety measures for yourself. That is how that is the only way how the schools can reopen. Because if each and
Okay.
every child inculcates that habit of being safe for himself, then definitely he will make
Hygiene,
others
safety.
safe.
Yeah.
Yes, he will make
Yeah.
others safe. And this is the
That's
message to the parents also. In COVID-19
okay.
situation, we all are sitting at home. So I want them to make their kids understand the real value of being at home. Once they move out, the habits which have been inculcated, they should bring into practice also. That is the only way how the schools can open. And we can see the happy faces of our kids.
Thank you. Apurva sir, your
Uh,
message.
Students and parents need to understand first thing, that they should not worry about the completion of the syllabus. Government is
Okay.
Very
going to calibrate that. ऐसा ये सब खत्म कब होगा, ये क्वेश्चन हमको स्टूडेंट्स पूछते हैं फोन करके. खत्म करना पड़े इतना आने वाला ही नहीं है, क्योंकि दिस इज नॉट ओनली प्रॉब्लम ऑफ वापी और वलसाड, दिस इज एंटायर वर्ल्ड इज सफरिंग. So there are people better, wiser than me. They are sitting there and they are going to do the needful. Second thing, my message to the student is, ये this too shall pass, and डर के आगे जीत है, इससे कुछ होने वाला है आगे अच्छा. So we should keep our mental, physical fitness okay, and we should move ahead.
Okay. I hope parents and students are relieved by the opinions our panelists have just shared and the message that they have delivered. Sir, we will take some audience question before we conclude the event in next 5 to 10 minutes. Uh, okay. Lakshmi Sharma, she is asking, what are your strategies to create impactful teaching through online method? As far as I assume, she also represents an institute. So I will direct this message to Rahul sir. Sir, can you answer this? What are your strategies to create impactful teaching through
Yeah.
online method?
Yeah, so say when we say on impactful teaching, strategies, what we realize is, if you look at at a stretch of focus that a child or a person can give for an online class doesn't go beyond 20 to 30 minutes. So running a
Yeah.
class of 45 1 minute 1 hour is not going to help. If you look at a brick and mortar physical class where a teacher can have a glance of look around just by raising her eye for almost 180 degrees and figure out who's looking at me, who's understanding, whose body language is right, whose body language shows confusion, which is not going to happen in the offline learning, because I get to see very few people on my screen. So we need to have fewer children so that teacher can observe, and if required, like we have two teachers managing a batch of 12 to 13 kids. So whereas one teacher is kind of support cockpit flight pilot, so we call her wingman. That wingman is sitting and guiding the teaching teacher as to which child is showing confusion on the face, which child has raised the hand, which child is not looking at the screen or not focusing on it. So the teacher can look up and ask question to the child or talk to the child, so that the child comes back to the class. So we need to cut short the time of a class at a stretch. We need to give them interesting assignments, so that the children actually learn by solving those assignments by questions that they come across. So the self-learning, I mean, if you look at in abroad, like in big universities, when they teach something, the professor gives a list of books to read. So if they're going to teach a topic on, say, human body, they're going to send some points to read or books to read or chapters to read and come to the class. So the child comes prepared on before. No, actually, when the teacher starts, the child is already knows or familiarized with the topic. So we have to find such different strategies and ways so that the child reads and comes to the class, understands the topic, and then there are some assignments given so that the revision and the clarification of what is being taught happens. So this is
Okay.
how we are trying to handle it.
Yeah, thank you. One more question from audience. Madhuvanti Godse, she wants to ask, Sir Apurva sir, I want you to answer this. She
Yes.
wants to know that since we might be moving into a fusion type of environment for education in coming future. So do you believe that education will get cheaper for parents and in future? Do you believe that?
Hello. In such case, getting admission in any distant university for it is possible. Hello. Yes, I got it. Online classes are not monetarily cheaper. Like universities overseas, they have not reduced their fees. Even IIT Bombay, they have declared the next semester is online, but they have not reduced their fees. My daughter is in Flame University, they have not reduced their fees. So I don't think unless and until government intervenes, uh, because we are not sure whether the entire year is online mode or not. The thing is that if that
Okay.
clarity is there, always a university can look at their financial structure. But
Not
I don't
necessarily
think this will
for
be.
this year, but what do you
Pardon?
see in the future? Not necessary this year.
Pardon, I'm not
Not
getting your voice.
necessary this year. Yeah. So can you hear me now?
I'm not hearing. Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
no. Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes. It is now clear.
So not necessarily getting cheaper this year, but looking at a future.
Yeah,
Looking at a
yeah.
distance future.
Even today, the 100% online courses are monetarily absolutely cheaper because we only have to pay the tuition fees. There are no expenses for accommodation or anything else like Coursera
Yes.
or whatever the platforms. We it is true. And even IIT Madras has come up with the first online degree, that is BSc in
Okay.
data science. But again, it is very expensive even online. So I
Okay.
think the day will come and we'll have this facility.
Okay, thank you. The last question from the audience before we start concluding today's session. Saloni Shah, she has raised a question. I will sum the question. So, Rajshri, this question is directed to you. Are we looking at a competitive type of exam in coming future because we are looking at a blended model? All of us believe. So, do you think that competitive exam will be taking place throughout the career of the student? Can you throw some light on it?
If we see, we have different structures like pre-primary, primary, secondary, and then senior secondary. So competitive exams can be possible only for the higher grades, not for the lower grades, not for the pre-primary or primary. So, may be possible after, if these things continue, or, somewhere the education system brings in certain changes. So competitive exams may, from the secondary classes may start. Okay, that can be the near future, but not for
Okay.
the primary classes. I don't think so. There can be competitive exams for would be the scenario for primary classes, because that
Okay.
would really, kill the learning spirit of the child, because there again the parents, they would force the child to learn much, or study much rather than learning. So that, I don't think so that learning should be killed over here.
Okay. So we have completed our second round and we'll be concluding the whole event in next few minutes. Okay. We have crossed our stipulated time, but then can we extend 10 more minutes, sir? Everyone okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Rahul, sir, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this question is from me actually. I have always had a question regarding this. I have studied in California for some part of my college, and I had a wonderful experience giving an open book exam there. Okay, so open book exam, sir. Apurva sir, can you hear me?
I'm not getting you.
Rahul sir, is my voice clear?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, so the question is directed to you, Rahul sir. Open book exam. What do you think? Can the system, can the institute take this as a new way of examination when we are giving classes online? Can you throw some light on it?
Yeah, I mean, I am actually for this. I've always believed that the topic or the subject should be taught in such a way that the child should know what is there in book, in every corner of the book. Besides, it also gives a challenge to the teacher that I should ask a question which, even if you have a book, you'll have to think and answer. You won't get a direct answer. So it's a challenge for teacher and the child both. So which I feel is going to take the quality of the education much higher level. So I think that is the way it should happen.
So I would like to share my personal view here. We were in a batch of 30 people in a university giving exam, and even in open book exams people fail. This is what I've seen, and you can score more than 100. Both things are possible. You can
True.
score more than 100. The professor was amazed how Indian students could write, the essays and give their input beyond the book also. So they scored
Correct.
more than 100. And with open book, people have flunked with 10 marks, 15 marks out of 100. So this is my personal experience. I hope such experiences come in this challenging time, and we will now move towards the concluding questions. Okay, so each one of you will answer a specific concluding question. Apurva sir, starting from you, what are the negative impacts of COVID-19 on our education? Very brief. Negative impacts.
The only negative impact I see is we all are passing through financially very thin time. There is no other negative impact I'm looking at. It's a learning
Okay.
period which doesn't kill you, teaches you. So
Okay.
that is the only, and it applies to all, not to the student, everyone.
Thank you. Rajshri madam, what
Yeah.
are the positive impacts of COVID-19 on our education?
Positive impact, as we have already discussed many things, it has opened up a plethora of new
Okay.
approaches and opportunities across, I would say, not only on education but all the fields which are associated with education. So there is a lot of opportunities have been opened up. For teachers, it is learning. For students and parents, again, it has brought them more closer. Parents have started relearning, I would say, relearning and unlearning certain things, and they are going back to the school. So this is positive impact. Again, I would say here, the child and the parents are getting bonded together. And of course, yes, I think even Rahul sir and Apurva sir would agree that parents are now realizing how much pain actually the teachers take to teach a child. So that is what many parents have realized. My friends have spoken out to me about it. So many parents have realized that it's difficult to manage one student, how so many students are managed by the teachers. So kudos and hats off to all the teaching fraternity. I really feel proud that I was in this field and I'm still in this field. So this is the positive impact which is
Thank
there.
you.
But many people, like we have already spoken about the online learning classes and these people. So they are mushrooming, they are getting opportunities. So somewhere or the other, we can see that job opportunities and employment opportunities are being created. I'm not speaking about negative right now. You have asked about positive. So there the job opportunities have been created. Many teachers have moved from where they have been laid off or somewhere. So they have moved to this online teaching, and they are generating, opportunities for themselves. So this also can be seen as an opportunity or
Thank you.
positive impact.
Thank you.
But yeah.
Rahul sir, what would be the key learnings out of all the negative, positive impact and the challenges that you as an institute or we as parents have faced? What will be our key learnings out of COVID?
See, I think my key learning in this is that I feel every child is a curious, and every child basically wants to learn, whether it's offline or online. So, I mean, I suppose one of the the earliest online education example was when Eklavya learnt standing outside the class of Guru Dronacharya, and he proved that it doesn't matter whether you're learning doing online or offline learning. He stood out of the class and learned more than Arjuna just by watching, from far. So I think it all depends on the passion in the child and how good the teacher is. So we basically, as educators, we just need to put ourselves in the shoes of the child and find ways to ignite this passion and joy of learning in them. If I am able to do this, uh, I think there can't be any stopping whatever is the situation.
Thank you everyone for participating today. Wonderful answers. I believe honest answers from people belonging to education sector. Most of our queries are solved today. We are coming to the last part of our event. I would like to invite two of my team members who are instrumental in organizing all the three sessions and all the events that we do at Startup Vapi. I welcome Jay and Ravi to propose
Hello.
a vote of thanks. Yeah, we can hear you, Jay. Ravi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay, I would like to start with you. Kindly propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, panelists, for giving us your precious time and meaningful insights to the parents. And also would like to thanks the past panelists of the events. Thank you, Krushit bhai.
Yeah. Ravi?
Yeah. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Ravi Shah. On behalf of entire Shutterpuppet community, I would appreciate the valuable time contributed by the audience. The constructive questions asked by you all have been helpful to many online presenters.
Yeah.
Your valuable feedback motivate us to organize such a successful event like this. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience from last 3 days. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vijay Bhai. And thank you so much,
Yeah.
panelists of. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, both of you. Heartful thanks to our panelists. I would just like the audience to know that you have listened to very passionate panelists today. It was yesterday night, 11 o'clock. We had finalized the event, and these panelists took out time from their already planned schedules and given us the whole day to discuss and be available to solve our queries. I am very thankful to all of you to accept our invitation and join us today. Uh, Thank you everyone for joining and have a good evening
Yeah.
and good night to all.
Yeah. Thank you, Krishit bhai. Good night. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good,
Good night.
good night.
Good night. I would like to once again thank all our audience. We have had a wonderful session. I request my team members to stay online while the panelists are leaving. 3 days has been wonderful. We have had huge participation from people from WAPI and outside WAPI as well. And with your support and encouragement, we will be coming up with such innovative ideas and events in coming months. So stay tuned, like us, and follow our Startup WAPI Facebook page for more details. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.